Hello everyone and welcome. Today I'll show you a budget commander deck about Meren of Clan Neltoth. So Meren is a quite interesting commander because she allows you to get experience counters whenever a creature you control dies. In addition to that, you may return target creature from your graveyard to your hand or onto the battlefield depending on the number of experiences counter you have. The strategy around Meren is actually quite simple. It is to have many when enters the battlefield effect cards, such as Acidic Slime. When he enters the battlefield, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or land. Now that you have a little idea about what to build around Meren, let's jump into the mana base. Let's remember this is a budget deck and not an expensive one. Dryad Arbor is our first land. I know it's a bad beginning for budget decks, but you can also replace this card for a basic land. For the basic lands, you will need 9 forests and 8 swamps. What you would certainly want is an overground tomb, a Tainted Wood, a Llanowar Wastes, a Guildleaf Palace. So mine is in French, but actually what it does is it enters the battlefield tapped unless you reveal an elf card from your hand. So this card is better than a Guildgate because I have some elves in my deck. A Temple of Melody, and finally a Woodland Cemetery. So as you may know, some of these cards are quite expensive for only mana base. You can always replace them by basic lands, but hey, we're into a magic world. The first non-basic land card you would want for the mana base would certainly be Urborg. Why? Simply because of its effect. Each land is a swamp in addition to its other land types. So if by example you are mana sharp for swamps, you only have to cast Urborg and each forest is a swamp also. Mana Confluence is also a great card, such as Seed of Brass. Both of them are actually the same thing, but Mana Confluence is a bit better. Why? Because you have to pay 1 life to add 1 mana to any color of your mana pool. And Seed of Brass, it's whenever it becomes tapped. So your opponent can tap it, but it's not a big deal. Temple of the False God is a quite good card in Commander because it adds you 2 colorless to your mana pool if you have 5 or more lands. Command Tower is a must because it adds to your mana pool 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. I only put Opal Palace in my deck because it gives my commander +1/+1. Why would I put a +1/+1 counter on my commander? Only because it would be more difficult for my opponents to kill Meren. If Meren isn't on the battlefield, I can't almost do anything without her. Let's talk about these cheap lands. We've got 1 Jungle Hollow. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. We also have a Golgari Guildgate. You can use 1 or 2 of the cycle lands. I personally don't really like these cards, but it's always useful because of its cycling ability. Then we've got the 2 Vivid lands. The Vivid lands enters the battlefield with 2 charge counters on it, and you may remove a charge counter to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Our last land is Golgari Rot Farm, which enters the battlefield tapped. And when it enters the battlefield, you also need to return a land you control to its owner's hand. A nice little combo would be Vivid Grove. It enters the battlefield tapped with 2 charge counters on it. At the beginning of your next turn, you tap 1, you remove a charge counter, and you play Golgari Rot Farm. You return Vivid Grove to your hand, and next turn you return it onto the battlefield with 2 charge counters on it. Let's move on to the creatures. Viscera Seer is a 1-drop for a 1/1, and you may sacrifice a creature to scry 1. This card is awesome with Meren. We also have one Zulport Cutthroat and a Blood Artist, which are approximately the same thing. Sakura Tribe Elder is an awesome card also with Meren because it allows you to have mana ramp plus experience counters. Our last 2-drop is Fauna Shaman. I know it's a bit expensive, but it allows you to tutor and also to fill in your graveyard. The black 3-drops are almost the win condition for a Meren deck. Flashback Marauder and its twin, Merciless Executioner, allow you to sacrifice creatures and to destroy the board of your opponent. Friction Rager is also a great card because you draw and you lose 1 life. These 3 cards can be reanimated thanks to Meren's ability. For the green 3-drops, Yavimaya Elder is the best of all. When he dies, he allows you to ramp, and you may pay 2 to sacrifice it and draw a card. This card is really the best of all. Eternal Witness is a great card because it allows you to return a card from your graveyard to your hand. While Meren is into the command zone, Eternal Witness is a quite good card. Reclamation Sage allows you to destroy artifacts and enchantments such as soul rings or any good enchantments. Wood Elf also allows you to ramp. Jarad is an indestructible guy and boosts while your graveyard is filled. Savra also allows you to gain boosts when you sacrifice creatures. Smothering Abomination is an awesome card. Whenever you sacrifice a creature, you draw a card, but at the beginning of your upkeep, you must sacrifice a creature. Slum Reaper is the big brother of Merciless Executioner and Flashback Marauder. The Gateway Monster is an awesome card into a Meren deck. Also, CDC allows you to tutor cards, while Fiction Plague Lords makes you sacrifice creature and destroy the opponent's one. Acidic Slime and Shriek Maw allow you to destroy permanents. Kukusho is one of the best cards into a Meren deck. If you have 6 or more experience counters and Meren is indestructible, you just won the game. You sacrifice Kukusho, you reanimate it, and you gain many life, and you make lose 5 lives to each opponent. Harvester of Soul is an awesome card in a Meren deck. It's only decent because of its Death Touch ability, and whenever a non-token creature dies, you may draw a card. We also have 5 big guys. Butcher of Malakir is an awesome card, a bit like Harvester of Soul. Shieldred Whispering One is maybe a bit expensive, but it's really good and allow you also to win the game really faster. Terastodon is an awesome card because it allows you to destroy artifact, enchantment, almost everything but non-creatures. Vernon Force allows you to put the 1/1 Saproling and sacrifice these Saprolings. Craterhoof Behemoth is only a finisher. It's not that good in the Meren deck, but it's really decent. We also have Grizzly Salvage, which is an awesome card. If you do not know what it is an instant, it costs 1 black and 1 green, and you may reveal the top 5 of your library. And you take a creature or land card from it, and you put the rest into your graveyard, and the card you chose onto your hand. Mulch is almost the same thing, but you only take all the lands. Explore allow you to draw a card and play an additional land this turn. Golgari Charm gives -1/-1 to each creature. You may destroy target enchantment or regenerate each creature you control. You generally don't regenerate creatures, but sometimes it's really good. Cultivate is a really great card because it's only mana ramp. Court of Calling is a great card, but maybe a bit expensive. It's a tutor. Putrefy allow you to destroy an artifact or a creature and it cannot be regenerated. Victimize allow you to fill in your graveyard. And Diabolic Tutor is a cheap version of Demonic Tutor. It's a really good card. Increasing Ambition is also a tutor and it's really, really good. I have many tutors in my deck and it is what makes me win the game. Beacon of Unrest is always a good card with Meren and isn't really known. We also have Tooth and Nail, which is a big card, maybe a bit too expensive and it's not worth to buy, but it's a tutor. Now we finished our sorcery and instant, so let's talk artifact and enchantment. Soaring is just a must in the commander. Skull Clamp allow you to sacrifice creature and draw 2 more cards. Swiftfoot Boots and Lightning Greaves allow you to protect your Meren. Also, Golgari Signet is just a good card. Evolutionary Leap allow you to sacrifice creature and tutor. Gate to Phyrexa is a sacrifice engine. Attrition is also a sacrifice engine. It's really good to destroy non-black creatures. We also have Grave Pact and Dictate of Erebos. Both of them allow you to make the opponent sacrifice a creature whenever a creature you control enters the graveyard. Eldrazi Monument allow you creatures to be indestructible and you must sacrifice a creature. And your creatures also get +1/+1. So this card is really good with Meren. Deadbridge Chant allow to fill your graveyard really fast and also allow you to reanimate creatures at random. Our last artifact and enchantment is Ashnod's Altar. This card is my favorite. For 3, you have an artifact and you can sacrifice a creature at any moment to add 2 colorless to your mana pool. This card is really awesome with a Meren deck. Now, let's talk Planeswalker. You don't really need Karn Liberated, mostly because he's really expensive. But Omnixilis Reignited is a great card, only because you draw and you lose 1 life. You can also use his -3 ability to destroy creatures, but his -8 isn't that good. So let's do a little recap with our Meren deck. First, you need some creatures that make everyone sacrifice a creature, such as Flagbag Marauder, Merciless Executioner, and even Slum Reaper. Then you need some second giant, such as Smothering Abomination and Ashnod's Altar. Finally, when you have 6 or more experienced counter, you almost win the game. Kokusho is a great finisher. So this is the strategy with Meren, and she's really interactive. At the beginning of the game, everything is great. Meren makes the game fun in Commander, and you play Meren as a multiplayer girl and not as a 1v1 girl.